name is Katie Campbell, and this is old Brandy Jones over there, and we're Team Casey Creative. We're a small, I think, but pretty mighty little marketing agency here in Wilmington. Been going strong for 5 years now, and our background really is real estate marketing. That's kind of our forte, but we've been doing this a long time, and I think that our skill set and knowledge kind of applies to a broad industry scope. So I think what sets us apart, makes us different, is that we've been in the shoes of the marketing directors and the folks that are managing budgets and plans and strategies. We've done all that. We've been marketing directors, and we're still marketing directors, I guess, right? Just kind
in some regards.
Yeah. We just have more people to answer to now. But what we do day in, day out really is a lot of social media management, a lot of graphic design work, whether it be website design or brochure collateral material, etc. And then we're also pretty keen on the sales strategy and the sales process, how you follow up with your clients, the processes that you need to, bring your future buyers to your doorstep. So that's a little bit about what we do every day. And it's very cool to be doing a Zoom seminar. We do some on-site training and some face-to-face stuff, but I've never done a seminar like this. So I feel very weird. It feels weird to be sitting down talking, but anyway, I just wanted to see, show of hands really quick, who is wearing either their pajamas right now or their leggings, active leisure wear. Hey, I am. I have leggings on. All right, cool. So that is one beautiful perk to this Zoom style. And that actually, with the show of hands, that kind of brings in the topic of today. We were totally laughing at ourselves because we did this little promo video to kind of kick this thing off, and we were like, oh my God, we are using our hands like crazy. It's so exaggerated, all this and that. And so it made me think, let's play off that theme with today's talk. So our subject line is marketing high fives and hand jobs.
So I think I have a quick screen share of that. Yeah. And I'm going to start sharing my screen with everybody. So if you need to minimize everybody so you can see our screen, you can minimize it and kind of pull it up. But we got pretty.
We got aggressive with the hands.
With our hands.
But I do feel, I'm going to minimize us too, but I do kind of feel like, I love a good theme. I'm in marketing. I love a good theme. So we're going to go with a high five for you guys today and offer 5 tips for marketing strategies and, ideas that you may want to implement in some way, shape, or form in this crazy world we're in right now. But also the hand jives reference is 1 to our foolishness, but 2, a little grease ode, but also just the jive and the hand jiving, and that we've all been jiving right now to adjust our marketing plans this year. There is no question, I don't need to tell y'all that we are living in a really weird world, and things are a lot different than you probably set your strategies and plans out to be at the beginning of this year. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's not opportunity there. I would argue, and Brandy and I would both say, there is opportunity now. We just have to be thoughtful in what we do. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy, how quickly it's going to bounce back. And I think a lot of, at least our clients, are paying attention to their budgets and their bottom lines, and we totally get that. We have managed budgets of all shapes and sizes through the years, and I think the jiving really is just being thoughtful in what we do. So we have 5 tips that I think you can use with the resources that you have in-house, and that you don't have to bust your pocketbook on, and will still accomplish what we're after, which is, bringing those future buyers, future clients to your doorstep. So that is kind of going to be our spiel am I missing anything, Dee? I feel like that's it, right?
No, I was just about to kick you off so I can start talking.
Yeah, I know, right? I love to
Katie
talk.
loves to talk and do a song and dance, but we want to kick it off this morning with our first tip. So it's digging for gold.
Tip number 1.
In the appropriate places. So get your fingers out of your nose. We're talking, let's look in your database. Let's talk about referrals. We all know that referrals have one of the highest ROIs, and your database, if you get it right and tight, we found that drip campaigns with some adjusted content are working really well for our clients right now. Specific one-off marketing emails that are kind of designed with specific messaging are working really well. And then if you don't have an e-newsletter monthly, consider kicking that off, or even a quarterly if you don't feel like you can tackle monthly. But dig for gold where you already have it. So, and we know, you've cultivated your database. That's where you should be working right now and spending your time. So that's our tip number 1, is digging for gold in the appropriate places. Tip 2, I want to kick it over to Katie.
Okay, so every time I hear the word virtual, I think about let's get virtual. I cannot stop. I can't. So, and I think about Olivia Newton-John, and so that's kind of the theme for this tip number 2. But virtual is such a buzzword right now. We're obviously doing this virtual seminar as we speak, but it's really going to shape the way we do business moving forward. There's no question that we're spending a lot of time right now with our clients, talking to them just like we're talking to you. And at first I was like, man, this is kind of weird, because we spend a lot of our time moving to and from meetings. A lot of our day could be spent, in the car from one meeting to the other. And I really feel like these Zoom meetings and go-to seminars and webinars, etc., FaceTimes, have helped us be more productive in our day. So my tip would be figure out how you can get the most bang for your buck in a day. Maybe it's not every single, when things go back to normal, obviously, that we're doing on-site meetings, but maybe you're doing a lot more Zoom things. And I'm going to share this little deal about myself. I have definitely not been good in the past couple of years about spending time to harvest my business brain. I've had my head down. I've just been working, and I haven't been looking for either it be inspiration enough or business knowledge enough. But I have to say, like, this quarantine period has been really beneficial for that for me. And I would urge you to do that same thing. Listen to podcasts, get involved in webinars. See, you guys are already one step ahead doing this. But find something that you can get inspiration from. It has been very good for me, this pause. So I would urge you to do that. And then thirdly, embrace technology. Brandy is the tech whiz in Casey land. I am like, yeah, but technology should be our friend. And I'm sorry, but I feel like it's going to have to be our friend more than ever moving forward. So figure out what you can do to make, 1, your job easier, and 2, your processes better.
I want to give a shout out to Lannon, who's on this meeting, because she changed my world about, I don't know if it was a week ago. That you guys can touch up your appearance in a Zoom meeting. Did you guys know that? So that changed my life.
Yeah, mine too.
I can't take the credit. I actually can't take the credit because the person who told me about it is on this call, and that's Karen.
Oh, Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Karen.
So if everybody doesn't know about it, it's just down by your start video, the little arrow to the right, and it pushes up and it says, like, touch up my appearance in your settings. You can do that. So everybody, it'll just make you a little bit more glowy and dewy, and your lips a little pinker, and just like, if we're going to be using this technology, we might as well use it to our benefit. So
hey, I forgot something I wanted to mention really quick. Just in the virtual, I wanted to give a shout out. I know who's on this call, Caitlin Cox. She works for Bill Clark Homes, and I wanted to tell you that you guys are doing a good job with your virtual right now. I've been watching your live videos. I know that you guys are taking home tours to your end user who can't travel right now. So good job on that. Keep up the good work. That's one opportunity right there, is to show things to folks that can't get there to see it in person. But also, we've got a client that's doing seminars now who used to do on-site seminars and has literally changed his entire business model. Now he's taking them virtual, and I think it's going to end up being really beneficial. It will save him a lot of money, one, and he'll get so much more leverage because he can do many. So think about how you guys could be using them, even if it's just a video update that you're sending to your client base. People want to feel connected. Show them your face. That's all. Okay, I'm done.
All right, tip number 3 is in case you missed it, don't. So now is the time to recycle, reduce, reuse, and start a revolution. You guys remember that Kid House Rock song? So it's the perfect kind of segue into it's a time to take materials that you already have. So if it's a video that you spent money on, splice it out into various pieces and use that kind of content. Use the whole video again. In your social media, if you had a post that performed well, and your insights will tell you what posts are performing better than others, don't be afraid to resurface that. It's cost efficient and effective, and it's super inexpensive. So don't be afraid to use the "in case you missed it" hashtag. So you can even do it with pieces of content on your blog and showing it on social. But yeah, I mean, if it has worked well in the past for you, carry on. Anything you want to add on that, Katie?
No, I mean, I just feel like we always say this: if it has legs, you better make it run. So if like you said, I feel like now folks aren't wanting to spend the money to harvest new content, whether it be video, whether it be blog writing, etc. So like you said, piece a blog in many different ways. Use the tips for your social plan.
Testimonials, reuse those right now. You reuse the heck out of those right now.
Yep. No, so in case you missed it, it makes me laugh because we have a couple clients, so I have to tell them what that hashtag is. So I don't know, you just say, if you missed it, read it. I mean, you obviously have to use the hashtag, but repurpose all day long.
And I'm going to keep rolling with lights, camera, action. And this kind of cycles back, this whole tip cycles back almost to everything that we've been talking about already. But YouTube and IGTV, we already know video is king on Facebook, but YouTube and IGTV are the giving such legs for SEO, and they allow for links back to your website. So if you're able to produce video content at this time, consider putting it on not only Facebook, but YouTube, Instagram. Instagram will link it to, or IGTV will link it to your Facebook account as well. So you only have to upload it natively in one platform. But I mean, the whole key is it allows for backlinks to your site, which is great for SEO. And we all know that folks are taking to being online now. So SEO is not stopping. It's not going away. If anything, your SEO game needs to get greater. And then just an extra tip, you can transcribe any video you make for about $5. And get some more SEO bang, and put all of that great content that was in your video, transcribe it and put it in the description for IGTV, YouTube. But again, this just kind of goes back to everything we were talking about, the digging for gold in your database. Send these worthy videos out to your database. Going virtual, make virtual videos so people can interact with you during a time when they can't even leave their homes. In case you missed it, recycle videos that are performing well for you. So this one kind of touches all the various points that we've already talked about, but it's such a huge one. And we can talk more about how to properly upload your videos and kind of frame out your videos as far as the descriptions and everything, so that it's best optimized for Google. We can kind of send you that platform offline, but just know that YouTube and IGTV are where it's at right now for SEO.
Yeah, it's true. And, vlogging is like the, hipster word for basically blog with a video attached. Yeah. Just thinking about how, like you said, Brandy, like how you can bring that virtual world of walking somebody through a house, or, walking someone through an area of your sales center that they may not be able to get to, or like for us, it's development communities.
Or a commercial project, hard hat tour.
Right. You can make video blogs. So that way you're getting multiple uses out of that content.
And to just speak to a client, they can be rough. I mean, right now they do not have to be this pretty shiny video. I think people are enjoying the realness of what they're seeing. So
yeah, and keep them short, man. Yeah. I don't think that anybody wants to watch like 10 minutes of, you walking through a house, but 3 minutes is pretty sweet spot.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right. Well, tell me a story, Katie.
Yes. Okay. So, I love that. But my first tip would be on this tip number 5, high five, Dan, would be start using Instagram if you're not. We're seeing, and what we mainly predominantly use with our clients is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then we sprinkle in that little LinkedIn for extra spice. But, Instagram is the sister of Facebook. You guys probably already know that. So Instagram is just growing such traction. And I think one of the reasons why is that stories is such a home run for them. I love them. I'm passionate about stories. I think they're great. I was pulling up some statistics just to see how many people are using stories every day. We did an on-site training back in February, and the number that was in our presentation was like, what, Brandy, 200 million or something like that view stories every day. It's now 500 million. So that is, 500 million Instagram accounts that are watching these little bubbles at the top of their, feed. So I would encourage you to start incorporating stories. Doesn't have to be every single day, because they are time consuming. There's no question, but the engagement that you'll get and you'll see is going to make you want to do them a lot more often.
And the argument is, a lot of it, we've heard stories go away. They don't really have staying power. But now, I mean, you can use highlight reels to showcase, great stories that you've done. So they don't necessarily go away. So they've been really great for some of our restaurant clients. And even one of our real estate clients has really taken to stories. So
yes, I love them. I'm a big fan. I think it's a good, fun, creative outlet. And here's what I would suggest, though, with a story when you start out or when you get more involved. Make your story almost like a flip book in your mind. Mm-hmm. Sequential order. Say this, then say this, then they say this, and then maybe there's a call to action as your follow-up last slide. Mm-hmm. But make your story kind of think in the way that you would if you're reading a book, and try to use at least 3 slides in your theme. Like if it happens to be just a day in the life of 1, 2, 3, and maybe there's a call to action, because what that means is it just keeps them looking at your stuff, 1, and then 2, hopefully jumping 1 to your website or 2 to your channel for more info on you. So stories, they're the best.
And we couldn't leave you guys with just 5. We had to give you a bonus. So our bonus tip kind of encompasses a lot. It's time to shine. Now is the time, with being home, we have a little bit more time to give some thoughtfulness, like Katie was saying, just to our brands. So it's time to, 1, look at your website, and review it and get it right and tight. And we can say this specifically about KC Creative, when you got your head down and you're working, sometimes it's hard to get to your website and make the updates that you need. But now is the time to do that. And just one more thing to speak to SEO, if your website doesn't have a blog right now, it's a really great way to bump up your SEO, and an easy way to do that, and link all of your YouTube videos into your website as well, and just kind of have that story making its own little circle. So It's time to review your website. It's time to review your social presence. So looking at your Facebook descriptions, your stories, your Instagram descriptions, making sure all your links are correct. Your services on Facebook, I know that's one that gets overlooked quite a bit, but you have the ability to add services on your Facebook page. Do that, add pictures to them, make sure it's spooled up. As far as social goes, think about implementing something out of the box. So if you're not using stories, maybe, it's time to tackle something that you're not used to tackling and try implementing something new. So maybe it's, Instagram stories. Maybe it's Pinterest. We've had a builder that started implementing Pinterest because, again, it's really great for SEO, but it works really well. They kind of, they're a custom builder, and they do kind of like a wish list mentality. And so it works really well for them. So think about, maybe adding another platform to your portfolio at this time. Any back burner projects, it's a great time to kind of tackle that. If you have a collateral piece that you wanted to update or start, it's a great time to tackle that. I hope you all have a database, but if you don't, get one. We were working with a builder and we couldn't believe it. They had folks walking through their door every single day and weren't capturing these folks. So, I mean, just marketing 101, have a lead capture source, even if it's as simple as an Excel spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet that you're incorporating into MailChimp or Constant Contact. Have some sort of small database if you don't have one.
Yeah, do that for sure.
Yeah, do that. Canva. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are using Canva. Katie and I say we should be paid by Canva as much as we talk about them, but
I like them so much.
It's the best. It's the best platform to create pretty graphics, to really shine things up. They've even upped their game on their platform. You can do short little videos, you can do GIFs, and that's all on the complimentary platform. If you want to pay, you get even more bonuses, but I can't say enough good things about Canva. Big fan of Canva.
So. Yeah, all the little graphic images from today's, presentation are from Canva. So I think they'll really up your game if you kind of get familiar with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I guess one more thing, we were just kind of thinking about this time to shine and, traditional marketing, the handwritten note, bring it back right now. Put a note in the mail to your clients. It'll definitely bring you some return. So those are kind of our
that's a lot
tips.
Good job.
And now I think we'll happily open it up for questions. We've got just kind of a recap here, and Julie, we can send this to you if you want to send it out. And then our contact info, we can share that with you as well. Send this all to Julie, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll just open it up for questions if that's good with everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, we would love to get that content. If you guys would like to be maybe guest bloggers on our website, I don't know, I'll get with Karen. That might be something, we could share or something, or at least put it on our social channels if you guys are amenable to that. But great tips.
Yay.
I love it. I know we have a pretty diverse crowd here. It's interesting to see. I know some people are business owners solely. I know I see a few at least. Some maybe not necessarily in a marketing field. Some are volunteer marketers for us. That may not be their day job, but they maybe market with Crew or maybe another organization. So if anybody has questions, now's the time. I'm so appreciative to be able to pick the brains of KC Creative.
Yeah, do it.
Yep, Cheryl?
I have a question. I actually just asked my people that do my webpage to design something to be able to capture emails.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be doing kind of like I don't know, maybe monthly, or I'm not sure what I'm going to do, like 10 things to keep your house free of mold, or, something, because I'm an environmental consultant. But how do I get people to go to the webpage to download it, to capture their email? Like, do I need to send out something from Constant Contact, just a thing saying, here's a link for this content, or like?
Couple of ideas. So I assume you're doing social as well.
Yes.
Okay. So make an ask on social, pushing to that specific. And is it a page or just a form on your website?
It'll probably be like a PDF or something to download.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So specifically push them to that, place on social. Obviously, if you had them in your database, you probably, you could do an ask to share with a friend through your database. But if you're already have their email, and I don't know that Constant Contact is the best place to do an ask. What are your thoughts, Katie? I think social.
Social is a home run. You could add like a link to the bottom of your signature line on your email too, so that it's always there.
So whenever I send anybody an email, it'll be there.
Join our newsletter.
I feel like your signature line kind of gets overlooked a lot if you're going back and forth with somebody. That's an easy one, right? But social all day long. And I don't see a problem at all, like going to your database and Constant Contact and doing some kind of specific, like, hey, stay up to date with us. Here's our newsletter. You could start a referral program.
That's what I was thinking.
We're totally down with referrals. We know that is the most inexpensive form of buyers, leads, etc. And they're always the highest to turn into a buyer. I think
that's your announcement through Constant Contact is some sort of referral program, because you're already talking to people that are in your database. So you want them to share new people with you.
So give me an example of do you offer them something to refer somebody or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what line of business?
I'm an environmental consultant, so that's a little hard to do because I don't want to discount my fees because it kind of waters down it's just not something that I'd like to do. But so I'm not sure how that would work for me, but
wouldn't necessarily work.
Yeah.
Could you do any sort of like complimentary consult if you refer someone?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Like that? That's and I had another question too. I'm actually trying to get a YouTube thing together and link it to everything. I'm not a very good speaker on camera. It's weird. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But
it is to me too. Embrace the weirdness.
I know. I just have to get over myself, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
I'd like to chime in on that, Cheryl. You are your business. So like in my mind, I'm thinking, when you are your brand and your business, like people want to see you. It's so uncomfortable. I know for a lot of people, but
I have no problem talking to people in person, but it's like with the cameras there and there's nobody, you just look stupid, and it's like,
I think it's exposure therapy of being on camera. And eventually you'll get more comfortable with it. I'm working with our agents to do the same thing of, hey, like I'll go and show you kind of what I would do. And, just to kind of get them more comfortable, because unless you are comfortable with it, like people are going to read into that. Yeah. But like all the things that you're saying, I'm hearing like, what's the value? Like if you're bringing value at your YouTube or in your newsletter, if you're, saying, hey, sign up for this and here's the value you're going to get, like people are going to be more interested, in that automatically.
Absolutely.
And I can also speak to that. I am actually not good on camera. Like I freeze. But I can tell you something that helped me personally is working with interview a couple of videographers and that like personal relationship and being comfortable with somebody that's going to be filming you also helps too. So if you can develop a good rapport with somebody that might be filming you, that can help too.
That's a good call.
So we have somebody that we use quite frequently, and now it's it's friendly banter and it helps just like take the edge off, and it's not so uncomfortable being. So if you mess up, it doesn't matter, just start again. So
okay, thank you.
You can do it.
And jobs.
Yeah.
High fives.
I just kind of want to bring this up because I want to talk to the group about it. And it's something we didn't even mention, but it's a big part of what we do. And Julie, I'd be interested to get your opinion on it because we've been tossing around what we're going to do. event marketing is a huge part of real estate and how that piece is going to be affected going forward. You know, we've been brainstorming on, you know, VIP events with our clients, and, you know, when the time comes that we're able to do that, like, anybody else have thoughts on like event marketing going forward and how that's going to change? And I mean, obviously some of it's going to go virtual, but I was just curious what everybody else's thoughts were too.
I'll share some stuff
Okay.
first. So I don't, you know, a lot of our events are kind of piggybacking with maybe master plan communities.
Mm-hmm.
We also do some of our own, and, you know, we're a developer. So one of our big events that our, you know, development team was planning was for a community that, you know, was going to happen right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're already like kind of pivoting and maybe doing some more private one-on-one things. Yeah. But what I'm, you know, imagining is it's kind of twofold. So those events, you want to have a good amount of people there because it creates energy and buzz and everyone's
Mm-hmm.
excited, right? So to have that large group, you're missing that.
Yeah.
So how can you manufacture that? It's really hard to do. So I think, you know, maybe eventually we'll get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm seeing is probably going to happen is more of the VIP labeled status events where, okay, you have your special time from this block to this block, and then here's your block and your block and your block.
Yeah.
Or just smaller groups. But I mean, you know, people are cautious and going to be cautious for a while. I mean, we sort of expect a little bit of pent up demand from, you know, Northeastern folks that are, you know, maybe they delayed for a couple of years and they were going to, you know, move down here later and they're ready now. We do expect some bump from that, but I mean, certainly we're not going to have a big event with 300 people in the summer now. So what do you do? I mean, it's pivoting because we still have to sell things. We still have to get information to people. And I think the hardest part for us is manufacturing that energy that you only get. It's psychology. So how can you shift that psychology in a sales process to something virtually? I mean, that's difficult to do. And I'd love anyone's thoughts or feedback.
Yeah, I just thought I would throw that out there because that's something that we're, you know, about to be faced with. And, you know, even as soon as they do open it up to more events, then it's like a race for you're competing with so many other events too. So it's just going to be an interesting time. But I do think the VIP events, quality over quantity, is going to be huge for these mass scale events, even like the Live South shows or the Ideal Living shows. Like, you know, will they be able to continue that virtually? That's going to be interesting to see. So anyway, just thought I would throw that out there. That's just one that's been on our minds.
I think that event, you know, yes, on a smaller scale, your quality over quantity to start for sure. But I keep coming back to the basic that we are naturally social creatures. Yeah. So at some point, whether we are serious about purchasing or we are serious about going to a Live Style show, or we just need to be around people, that is going to eventually break through. And they will maybe have to limit and cap numbers. But I think as we become more and more comfortable, things start to go back to normal, if you can even use that word. We want to be around people, and virtually is great for the time being. It's a Band-Aid over
momentarily.
Momentarily. I think, you know, I just think that we're going to have to pivot and adapt to make sure that we're keeping everybody's health and on the top of our brains. But I think events are going to have eventually happen. You know, it's a part of who we are in whatever
You're my
business.
social butterfly friend.
So I'll do a little commercial for a little bit related to that topic. Karen Widmeyer is organizing our crew event on May 13th, I believe. It's on our website, and the topic is getting back to work. We're going to have a panel with HR professionals, with engineer design, with which one?
Technology.
I was like, what am I missing? So just kind of talking about all these different facets of, you know, what's it going to look like going back to work? You know, what are policy changes that may need to shift? What's culture in the workplace going to look like? Legally, what, you know, as business owners are you going to have to be responsible for? So just a conversation, nothing official, but just kind of want to talk through that and see how people, are adapting. I mean, obviously, eventually, kind of to speak to your point, Landon, I think we will get back to some sense of normalcy. What that looks like, people are just going to be cautious, but and try to be smart. You've got to protect yourself. You've got to, appearances in a business. You've got to look like you're
in business
on the right path. Yeah. Because the tides can turn quickly on you, and you want to make sure that you're making sound choices. But certainly I think it will shift what people think, maybe forever. Until we're a forgetful people as humans. So maybe in 10 years, this will feel like a long distant memory, but I do think that it will shift, the way we approach things for a really long time.
I've been doing a little research just for my own commercial real estate knowledge about offices, right? That was my specialty. And that's definitely changing. And so I've been trying to figure out like where I can find my niche. And there have been a couple of articles, not to get off topic, but there's an office in Sweden that is creating the 6-foot space model for offices. Has anybody seen that? It's very interesting about how to, when we return to work, some of us have to go into an office building. There are some businesses that you just cannot work remotely. So how do you do that? How do you implement that? And there have been a couple of articles, and actually, Karen, I've seen back and forth on Crew Network about such things. But there's this awesome article about this office in Sweden that created the 6-foot model. And it's like how they enter the office, a hand washing station, what your cubicle actually looks like, and taped out for like 6-foot social distancing. And so it's just,
that's crazy. It's just
crazy, but it's actually super cool too. Yeah. Like, it's crazy that you can't be like, hey, office mate, like, let's be close proximity. But in the same way, like the way they've scaled it out and the way they've retrofitted their office as this model is actually super cool.
Yeah, I love that.
My nerd brain.
Yep. Karen?
Yeah. So kind of back on the marketing track, I'm hearing a lot of my clients starting to feel like there is not going to be a U-shaped recovery, that it's the flattening will continue, and they really are starting to plan for their multifamily investment businesses, office space, bringing employees back. They're really starting to believe that this is like an 18-month flattening, that there will be only some degree of normalcy, and that conferences are not going to be happening. So how does the marketing approach change Band-Aid versus not forever, but living with this for 12 to 18 months is a lot different than a Band-Aid approach for 3 to 4 months.
No doubt.
And where does it find its level? I mean, Julie, I totally, how in the world do you, have entertainment or events like that? But if you're facing a longer period, really the question isn't how do I replace my events, but how do I engage people differently?
Yeah.
Still sell. It's really, what are they getting out of the events, and how do you make that emotional response happen? I think, versus how do I make it just a different kind of event?
I think it really does go back to the virtual and getting really, really crafty and creative on virtual. I mean, even taking to what some of the musicians are doing right now, that they're creating like some really special, online, ways to take in music. I mean, I'm a huge lover of live music, and so I miss that. So I think we're going to have to get crafty and creative on how we can do that online. And it's definitely a challenge we're going to face, because there's just that element that's missing of connectivity.
And to know you can't go back. We've already opened the can of, we'll do virtual, and here's all the things that we can do. People know that you can offer that, and how quickly so many companies pivoted. Now there might be an expectation of, well, no, I don't want to go in person. I mean, so to know that, okay, you've opened it up, so can't put it back in the box. Now let's make that an integration and a part of your services and a part of your product offering, because people want what they want.
No doubt. And I think it's, I feel like it goes back to Brandy's like tip number one. It's keeping the folks that were on the hook in some capacity still hooked a little bit. I mean, it will come back. I mean, I'm not comparing what we're going through now to the Great Recession and what we experienced back in 9, 10, 11, 12, but I kind of, in a little bit, go back to how I was schooled. I worked at St. James. That's where I cut my teeth. That's where I met Brandy. And man, we were working with a $2 million marketing budget when I started to, that 2010, 11 time when it was, half a million, which was, that's a big cut. But we didn't stop. And I think what we did and what we worked with was what we had to work with, which was a database that had people that were interested. So I feel like the tips, even though we're talking about like, hey, we're all in this together, and we are, and I do think the real estate market will bounce back a lot quicker. And I think there'll be, like you said, Julie, some pent up demand. But I think it's working with the folks that you have on the hook and not going dormant. That's my biggest tip is like during this time, keep on keeping on in whatever capacity you can with whatever dollars you have.
I think you have to think about your audience too. Like for Logan, for example, by the way, there was this huge conversation on the St. James Facebook page yesterday about what Loganville was. People were hearing the word and literally were asking, what's Loganville? Is that a news section? That's what they're calling your ocean.
That's what we're secretly going to call it now.
So we was like, well, what is that? Is it a new town in St. James?
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Okay. But also for you all, you're saying, I think it's normal for people to say, well, virtual's working. And to some degree, all these people that are looking at this area as a place to come to for whatever communities we're talking about are doing Zoom meetings with their families and stuff, but they are not particularly virtually trained and adaptive. Some of these people can't even figure out how to get on Facebook. So to ask them to do a virtual tour, I think the more the whole industry goes into it, the more they'll be faced with just having to do it. But you had a huge budget because you were doing a ton of print advertising too. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was you were marketing to a demographic that was looking in magazines, and so I think there's a little bit of a challenge on audience. But I know one of my clients who is actually doing a multifamily project in at River Lights right now, Middleburg. They put their research director to work, and they're publishing a monthly research paper on the new state of multifamily and dynamics. And their bottom line is trying to reassure investors that they're in the most resilient sector. Basically, it's I'm not in office buildings, but we've had great success taking that out and pitching it because people are looking for new authors and new experts. And I would just say, if you've got somebody who can write, somebody with a really like market leading capability, and they're sitting at home working and doing stuff, but they just said, hey, we're going to put something out once a month. And this next one, the first one went so well, we're going to put the next one out over a wire distribution and see what happens with it, because this is the time to try this stuff.
Sure.
And audiences are reading. These people are sitting at home reading now instead of running the meetings. So I think there's an audience factor that's very strong. If you haven't sent press releases out before, if you've opened something, if you've just finished a project, this is the time to make it formal and put it out there, because all these editors are just thirsty for something, even if it's COVID related, but if it's something just with a different twist on it, they're just really looking for things.
Content is king. I mean, we know that for sure. And you're right. I mean, I think we're thirsty. We've got, you hate to say spare time, but you've got, like you said, more of a captive audience now. So what are you going to tell them? you know. I think it's interesting, but I definitely think there's a lot of opportunity. And I think the ones that find it, figure it out, are going to be the ones that rise above. The phoenix.
Love it. Well, do we have any more questions? I know it's kind of approaching that 10 o'clock hour. Is everybody, we're here till whenever, but we good?
We're good.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us, Julie.
Yeah, we love it. Thanks for bringing in all the energy, all the jazz hands, high fives and hand jobs. Sorry.
Can we get a picture of that, Julie?
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, if
That'll be cute. All right,
everyone,
tell us when.
All right, so we're gonna take a picture, and if someone could grab a screenshot too, I'm gonna hold this up and try to get it on my camera. Laura and Julie, if you want to join, we're gonna take a picture. Nice.
Cool.
Love
All
it.
right. Awesome. I think I got it. I got it. There we go.
Yay!
Last week I said I got it. I did not have it. Thank you guys so much. For anyone who would like to join, I believe we have our next crew coffee chat this Thursday, I believe. But check out our website, capefreecrew.org/events. You'll see all of our events there. We are continuing to provide some really great virtual meetups for you guys. And if you have any other ideas on what you'd like to see next, please let us know. But thank you again, Brandy and Katie. We love having you, and thanks for all the advice and tips.
All right, we'll send everything over to you, Julie, so you can disperse it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Y'all have a good day.
everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.